With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give them the softest loungewear set, the real gift is this. And this. And this. This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give a gift that goes beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at lululemon.com.
Dollar bets, dollar bets, dollar bets coming at you on a Tuesday morning. Good morning, Z.
Woo! Got my cool coffee, brand name to be determined, whoever would sponsor us. Yeah, that I watched the Carolina game. I watched 3 of the 4 Maui games. Maui! I channeled my Bill Walton spirit. May he rest in power. Dude, it was great seeing his face, even though I couldn't hear his voice anymore, but I could hear it in my head. The night announcing crew did a good job of like also bringing him up and still making the games pretty damn exciting as they were already. Wow, what a freaking display of basketball and chaos and comebacks and psychopathy. Yeah, I think we need to start with the big story from the Maui is Danny Hurley is a psycho. Daddy Hurley, as we called him. Didn't we call him Daddy last week, like earlier this year?
What do you mean by we? Maybe you.
What was the Lakers?
Your infatuation with that team.
Daddy staying. It was Daddy staying, and now we know why Daddy's staying, because he wouldn't last 2 weeks in the NBA. His offense, yes, but his anything else, oh God, no. He is a lunatic.
Got a bit of a short fuse, eh?
It's a November game. It's a November game. That's for fans.
It's not a November game. It's a national showcase. He's got all the eyes on him. It's a big event, and it's
still a November game.
Tough opponent. And
is it though? We're gonna find out today. But is it?
We'll get to that in a second. But you know what? Yeah. But bottom line, and we spoke about this last night, you and I on the phone. And we agreed. Hurley cost his team that game. They made 100%. A very improbable and impressive comeback to force overtime, getting a 3 with less than a second left in the game.
1.2.
1.2, right?
Ball
came back from 13 points in the final 4 minutes. Forced overtime, but overtime turned into a bit of a whistle fest, and Hurley got teed up.
But they didn't have control of the game. But how can you control the game when you got Penny Hardaway and then freaking psycho Danny Hurley? Like Penny Hardaway he's just renegade program, and then Danny Hurley is your players at some point, it's like the dog that reflects like the owner's like psycho energy. Like imagine if a dog was like it's just picture an Eagles fan's dog, right? That's what his players are going to give at some points in the game. You don't have the steadying presence of Klingon anymore. Spencer last year, the point guard, you remember him? That they got from Rutgers? He was fiery, but he was only there 1 year, and he was older, and so and then they had that his name already escapes me because I got what I needed out of them. They're a Husk now. I retract my prediction. I don't know. They reflect his we'll say character right now, because they made a lot of mistakes. You just bottom line, you cannot do that. A tie game,
he gets technicals, gives the opponents two free points. Yeah. And in the end, it was a 2-point game.
Yeah, it was. It was really more of a 3-point game. They fouled on purpose, and then they set that up.
Yeah, but that those 2 free points probably caused the intentional fouling at the end.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely mess because theoretically, if you don't have time to get calm and shoot 4 free throws, you might miss one of those two. And UConn comes down and has at least one shot to tie, probably two. They were rebounding well at that point. I mean, honestly, like I'm kind of bummed that Michigan State doesn't get to play UConn, but honestly, like Memphis might bring different energy that could be better for us long term because I think UConn's like, oh Doyle, your family's going down, man. Honestly,
Listen,
the
I'm not worried about UConn long term. There's still plenty of talent, and Hurley's still a hell of a coach.
he needs to cover up those point guards.
Yeah.
Newton's gone, so
Yeah, and we'll get to Michigan State in just a second. But speaking of 2-point games, the Maui was full of them last night. 3 of the 4 were 2-point games. And in the late sessions, we had Auburn and Iowa State. That's the 4 versus the 5. And then we had Dayton versus number 12 UNC. So in both of those games, we had Iowa State and Dayton both had double-digit halftime leads.
Yeah, 18 points for Dayton. And
what was it?
18 for Dayton.
18,
I'm not sure about Iowa State.
Iowa State, right?
No, I'm not sure because
Iowa State was 49-33 at the half.
That's 16, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you said
yeah.
I thought you said 18. But
no,
they
said 18.
They did
18 for Dayton, 16 for Iowa State.
Yeah, they led.
Both of those teams lost.
Iowa State, and then Dayton was up 21 in the second half, like with 17, 18 minutes left. I mean, I don't know what happened in the Iowa State game, but I picture them just their offense going stale because they're a Big Ten. They're essentially a Big Ten team, and I'm really glad.
So much that their offense went stale. Auburn just went off. Like,
yeah, that's what they do, though.
But that lead was gone in minutes, right? It was 16 points at the half, and then I'm going through the play-by-play. Like, they had tied that game up within 6 or 7 minutes of play in the second half. Like, they just came out on fire.
How many did Iowa State score in those 6-7 minute run?
So here we go. They tied it up at the 13:51 mark with a 3.
It's 7.
And they had Iowa State had scored 4 points at that point.
Yeah, 20-4. Come on, that's
20-4 run to start the half.
That's Iowa State for you, man. They'll go cold, or they'll turn it over. Or their offense is like, I don't know, man. I'm just glad. The worst case scenario for me was we somehow lose to Colorado, beat Memphis. Like if Memphis was what we expected comparatively to UConn, and then somehow had to play Iowa State. Like if Dayton beats UNC, UNC beats Iowa State, and we have to play Iowa State in the 7th place game or the 5th place game or whatever. Because that's a Big Ten style team of just or Big East grind, not Big 12, ACC SEC, but a grind, and you're like, oh, I don't want to play a 21st Big Ten game. You know what I mean? So we are guaranteed to play Auburn or UNC, right?
That is correct. Yeah, and you know what? I've got optimism. So first of all, I think North Carolina and Auburn, and actually also Memphis, they played tough games that came down to the wire. Didn't really get to utilize their benches. Those
Memphis
teams are probably going to be real tired today, while Michigan State should be the freshest of the teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think that matters more in the end of the season type of scenarios. I don't know. I think it's day 3 where it really gets you, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't get to day 3 without going through day 2, but let's talk about Michigan State.
Let's talk about Spartans, 75-1 on FanDuel.
We got some things to be happy about right now as sports fans. Michigan State.
Yeah.
What's that?
There is nothing to be unhappy about with MSU because, well, let's just get to the quote-unquote bad part. The 3-point percentages. These are open shots. these aren't rushed. For the vast majority of them are not. I'd say 91% of them have been good looks. Or even not even just good looks, but
Come up with
situationally good
these
looks.
numbers. 91. Just say 90.
No, 91. The Kohler shots that come early in the shot clock, those aren't good shots. You can get the same shot later. That should be a
One of
compensatory type
Kohler's
of.
misses from the top of the key looked really good. Like it was in and then somehow
Yeah,
just
but it was
reversed
early in the
gravity and
shot
came out
clock.
of the net.
Winning by like 10 or 12 or 14 points. That's a bad shot. But it
Yeah.
was still an open bad shot. It's just not the right player, right? For that situation. That should be like, oh, he's in the flow state. Let's give him a look. He just scored 4 points at the rim. Let's give him a look out here too. But like honestly, the team shot, I think it was 70% inside the arc. Something ridiculous like that. We got a lot
Yeah.
of rebounds, high percentage of defensive rebounds, low turnovers, I think, or medium turnovers. And we just were good, dude. Like I think Colorado's going to get it together so it'll look like a better win than it probably was. But I think Sanford earlier in the season, like last week, that's a good ass win because they're a good team.
Yeah, I
We've
mean,
played a
you saw
better
what
schedule.
Izzo said about him. Like they do things that not a lot of teams do in terms of their defense,
Hmm.
their zone, the pressure. Like they've got athletes and they were fast, and it was definitely giving Michigan State some trouble early on. So
Yeah.
definitely a good early season opponent, and that's why Izzo schedules the way that he schedules.
I think they're the best team until the best cohesive team until we play at least Auburn.
Yeah.
Memphis is a bunch of transfers. Their entire team is transfers or new or rookies or whatever,
All
freshmen.
right. So it sounds like you're predicting Auburn to beat North Carolina today.
1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000% because North Carolina cannot guard in the first half. They just are lazy guarders. I mean, Auburn can score at the rim. What would have Dayton have done if they could also just like oppose their will inside? And they did a little bit with Zed Key, who was probably a ninth year guy from formerly of Ohio State and I think some other team. Yeah, I'm not impressed with Carolina's the way they start games. Like MSU's had some slumps early in games, but they just get destroyed. Like Kansas and Dayton had 20-point leads that evaporated. So yeah, credit to them for using their athleticism to get
Who?
to get Kansas. Kansas was up 20 on them in the half, and they was tied or they were losing at some point in the second half.
Yeah.
So, but it's like you can't do that all season or in the tournament. That's not going to happen in the tournament. So it's all about for a program like MSU's caliber. It's all about the tournament, baby. You enjoy the
Yeah.
season, but it's all about building and building and building. And I think Auburn is going to roll over them to an extent. They're going to get a double-digit lead at some point. I think they'll hang on. Because they got Broom, dude. Broom. I remember at Morehead State, I wanted him. I wanted him for Spartans. He's good, dude. He's good. All American.
Yeah. Yeah, he put up 21 and 10 last night.
Yeah, the winning tip in, right? That's the
Yeah,
only
he did.
I saw that score. I was like, okay, not surprising. Auburn must
Yeah.
have gotten their style of play, and 20-4 run. You can't be on the wrong end of that to start a half. That's really bad,
Yeah.
especially the second half.
All right.
Yeah, I think
I'm almost tempted to dollar bet you on this, but I want to think about it as we go through this episode.
Auburn
Um,
UNC.
yeah,
Do it.
I'm thinking about it. I really am. Um, and then in the other half of that, Michigan State is going to take on Memphis.
Hammer it.
How confident are you in our Spartans in this one?
I'm very confident in the coaching matchup and the guard matchup. The rebounding athletes can get sporadically dominant rebounding performances. They got some really athletic guys. But if it comes down to anything with coaching, flat out back to Hurley, real quick. That was an embarrassing performance. Their guards, you could tell right away which guard. I could just tell from the radio that the guards weren't getting it done, getting it to the people like that needed the ball, like ball. They had foul trouble. Samson Johnson should not start. Terrace Reed is better. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Terrace Reed's a better ball screen guy as a big. I mean, I just remember what they did the last year was where I really watched them. And I was like, oh shit, this team is like a juggernaut. The system is a juggernaut too. So it's like put the best players to succeed. You don't necessarily need that dominant point guard. And you were right. I think you alluded to like don't count them out or anything, but like that's what you got to do as a future is better. You got to be like, okay, this team has better chance for these odds. This team, this and that. Yeah. What was the question? Memphis. Sorry. Yeah, they're good, I guess. I mean, they're going to be undisciplined and on rebounds and stuff like that. I think the want to is there, I think, but the cohesiveness that Spartans have, like, I think we're better.
Yeah, I think we're better. I think the matchup is advantageous to us, right? Like
Yeah.
MSU is definitely better in the guard and on the wings, and I feel like that is Memphis's strong point too, with Haggerty, Hunter, and Rogers.
Where did
I'm not
Rogers
really
come from?
came from his mama. What you mean?
Rogers got it from his mama. Yeah, where did he got it
Danger
from?
is really their only interior guy that is impressive, but he's not going to be out there the whole time. And I think our inside depth is going to be enough to neutralize him for at least
Yeah.
portions of it.
We also know
Um,
Danger. We know about Danger from
okay, here
Illinois.
we go. You asked where Colby Rogers was. Last year he was at Wichita, the year before that at Siena, and the 2 years before that, what is this? Cal Poly. So he's a fifth year player, a COVID player.
I'm not worried about freaking one of them will go off. It'll probably be him. They're gonna lock up Haggerty with Akins and
Yeah,
Holloman.
one of their guards will probably hit like 21 3-pointers, but
It's gonna be Rogers. I'm guessing it's because you have to let somebody beat you. You don't let Haggerty beat you. You don't let what was the second guy's name? Carter?
Hunter, Tyrese Hunter.
Hunter. Man, Hunter's like 90 years old. Like he is he gonna shoot that well 2 games in a row?
Let's hope not.
No. Against way better defense, perimeter defense. No.
All right.
No.
All
No.
right. So we agree. Michigan State
Spartans
should
by
win
a
tonight.
Zilly. Spartans and Auburn by a Zilly. Parlay it.
Okay.
Do the
Hold on.
dollar. Do the
One
dollar.
real quick college basketball game. There is another game tonight outside of the Maui.
There's like 5
Um,
games that are good today.
I know, but there's one that
Duke and
is
Kansas,
two
yeah?
teams that we as Spartans traditionally don't like. We've got Duke and Kansas.
Kansas, when I made my bets for today at like 2:30 in the morning after the Carolina game, I saw Duke was 3.5 point favorites, so I moved Kansas line to 10. I don't think Hunter Dickinson can stay with the Duke athletes. The
Yeah.
only question mark for Duke is going to be their cohesiveness and coaching late in the season when it really, really, really matters. When you throw the kitchen at Cooper Flagg, what does everyone else do?
Yeah.
Um,
All right. So, first of all, do you have a rooting interest? Like, is there a team you would rather see win that game?
Duke.
Yep. 100% agree. And then if
I
you were
hate Hunter
to
Dickinson
just,
that much.
yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to.
I think
Um,
Duke by 4 to 7 points is what I think.
Duke by
Because
4-7.
yeah, because the best element of Kansas is I think Harris's defense. And he can't guard Cooper Flagg, obviously. So it's like I think KJ Adams gets in foul trouble, and that means if Dickinson spent, I would put Dickinson on the bench in this game. I'd have him come in for offense, long offensive stretches, and just have him gas it out because he cannot guard at all, at all. It's like I just don't know why they
Is that why
rely on
he's
him to do
still
that.
playing college hoops?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he's also a head case, clearly. You're
Yeah.
wearing a ski mask. Like, we're gonna go steal a win. Like, you're a loser, dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
He,
and
he's
we're
he's already
peers.
planning his next career.
he
or
had a
his
podcast.
first career.
So we're peers, so I can say that he's a loser, not as a person that's 20 years older than him and is like, "Oh, you loser! You took win the big one." It's no, but he's a loser because he's a loser of a human. Okay, you don't act like that. You don't act like that, and not something seriously wrong with your personality.
Yeah.
You come Michigan ready, okay? Out of the box, Wolverine is what you come
I
as.
mean, and I'm glad this is where this conversation is going. You were talking earlier about Hurley and his UConn team kind of adapting his personality. Like
Yeah,
Dickinson was the University of Michigan to a T, especially with Jawan
right.
Howard as coach. Like,
Yeah, it's going to
put
be
those
different.
two guys as a tag team in the WWF.
What's his name? Dusty May. I said Day. Dusty May. He's class. I think we'll see. Right? We'll see what that place brings out of you. Right? But Beeline the same way. I don't know. I think you respected Beeline, but obviously we didn't root for him. But it's like he. I like that there can be some cordiality with hoops because you play him twice. You're not really recruiting against him that much. You are and you
But you
aren't.
are.
You can play different styles. Also, no, Michigan has no talent left in basketball. Everyone goes somewhere else for high school or prep school or whatever. So you could be like, I was from Saginaw, or I'm from Bay City, or random spot, and Saginaw probably has more basketball talent than Bay City. But it'd be like, oh yeah, but I played at Montverde, I played at IMG, I played at Circuit City Academy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
valid point.
yeah. So it's like you're recruiting nationally. Our two recruits so far for 2025 are from the DMV, like
Yeah, East
that's
Coasters,
district Maryland and Virginia. Yeah. So
not the Department of Motor Vehicles.
well, we're gonna recruit from them too. Some 6'10" chonk with a jumper, a baby hook, sitting there in the back like stamping forms, and you're like, hey, you pretty tall, man. Can you score the bucket?
All right, should we talk some football?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
As
Yeah.
much as I was enjoying
Wait,
that
wait, wait, wait,
college
wait.
hoops conversation, we definitely need to start talking more basketball. But
Yeah, a dollar bet. Are we doing the dollar bet? Because I want to do my promo.
fine, why not?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go. You can have Auburn. I'm taking UNC. $1
Woo.
is on the line. All right. Good segue, actually. Let's just do some accounting work.
Okay.
All
Our accounting is
right.
brought to you by Dollar Bets affiliate. Signupexpert.com/dollar bets with a Z. College hoops is taking off. You get into some of that Maui action. I personally took MSU and Auburn today, staying away from Dayton, Iowa State, and the UConn game because UConn line is bleh. Yeah, signupexpert.com/dollar bets with a Z. You can get your accounts, fund them up, bet. In time for
So
holiday cash to
I
win or
think we
lose.
had a dollar bets first in this past weekend's
A wash.
games. We have a net zero between
I
us.
think we've had that before, but we haven't had it over like 2 or 4 bets. Like 6 bets and a wash is pretty impressive. I'm going to take it as a win, actually. Me
Yeah.
not losing the last 3 weeks is a win. Like I'm just like I'm putting my normal deposit thing is going to be $25. It's not a limit. It's just it's fine. And then just
Yeah.
if I'm doing my style, which I like, futures and parlays, especially in college basketball, I'm gonna lose some weeks, right? You're gonna lose some stuff, and so, but when you win, you win.
All right. So let's
Um,
just run
yeah,
down real quick the
yeah. Let's
college
run it down,
games that you.
baby.
What's that?
Let's run it down, baby.
Yeah, run it down. We're gonna start with the college games. We bet on Nebraska, Wisconsin, with me taking Nebraska. Got the W there. We had Pitt and Louisville. You had Louisville, big win for you there.
Oh yeah.
Um, LSU at Vanderbilt. I had the Tigers, so I took that dollar. All right, I want to talk about this one for a second. We had BYU, Arizona State at Arizona
Oh,
State. Arizona State killing them and killing them and killing them, and BYU comes back and tried to make something of it at the end. And then there was a play that should have ran out the clock, but then there was a second left, but then all the fans ran onto the field, and it took
Yeah, I
15
have a
minutes for
rant
them to
about
get
that
off the
for the
field.
end.
So here's my quick little rant. I love college fans running on the field. I don't care if it's football or basketball. I don't care if you are the lower ranked team or the higher ranked team. You're in college. Go run on the field. Do it 100 times. But stadiums, you need to have some sort of control and like set off like a starting pistol when it's okay for them to do it, right? Like we can't have situations where, yeah, I'm saying that kind of a gun, not a real
How did they
gun,
have
but a
a
starter
lame
pistol.
Midwestern DJ? They could just lame ass DJ tell him like, "Oh yeah, MSU, I'm talking to you." You know, lame fucking DJ.
We just can't have a 15-minute delay in a game like that.
Well, you know what? All right, I was gonna save the rant, but the rant comes now. We're doing back to back. We're back and forth ranting about this because
Rant to rant.
Aside from Hurley's psychopathic meltdown, the Dillingham one was actually worse because you know what's it? McNeely is the UConn player that maybe at most kind of fouled the guy that didn't really position himself well for rebound. I thought it wasn't a foul. I think Hurley was like, "Oh, that's bullshit." You don't get a penalty for or a tech for saying, "Oh, that's bullshit," because an opinion, a light opinion. It's not you're a he's like screamed at him and pointing at the assistant is pulling him back and he's like, "Rah! Screwing it up." And then but Dillingham is Dillingham, right? He's like 35, 34 years old. Grow up. When you reach our age, you'll grow up and mature. But this guy straight up is blaming other people, the refs, for his horrific decision making. And does he have an analyst? It's like, well, approximately 3.4 seconds if you run back 19 yards and don't fumble it 3 times in a row or whatever, and then you throw the ball out of bounds. Did he not think that they would blitz? What are they doing?
The commentators were all over that with the poor time management and just I agreed like what they were saying, just go for the score, make it a 2 possession game.
If you get the titty, guess what?
Game.
The odds increase. The only way that you get screwed is if you fumble, which they could have easily running backwards, or you get in a situation where you decide to go for a short field goal and it's either blocked or you make it and then you actually increase their chances of analytically. The number one move was to get the touchdown because then you'd have to worst case give them an onside kick and then you can still stop them the second time. It's like ridiculous. There was not a lot of time left. Punch it in, you boners. What are you doing?
So it came down to it ended up with a second left on the clock and right about midfield and BYU
15 minutes
Hail
later.
Mary, and the pass just was a few yards short. They ended up catching it at like the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
So
I had money on Arizona State, including your dollar. And I was like, I kind of wanted them to lose at the end because I was like, you deserve this loss. This is on you. And you're straight up blaming people. I mean, he might as well have been yelling at inanimate objects because there's no one had any culpability in this situation except him. He's like, oh. There's a video of him screaming and his like wife is there, I think. And it's like, what are you doing? Who marries these coaches? Stop marrying coaches.
Gold diggers. All right, let's move on. And then one other game that we put money on, and I can't believe we put money on it, meaning I can't believe you took the side that you did. Ohio State hosting Indiana. Ohio State went wild on the previously undefeated Hoosiers.
Special teams, man. It was close. It would have been closer. It would have been
It would have. Yeah, there was a couple of punch issues for sure. But how many points did Indiana score in that game, Z?
15.
Yeah. Not going to get it done against Ohio State.
Oh, and then Day running up the score. Those coaches deserve each
Oh
other,
yeah,
man.
yes, that touchdown at the end was absolute bad form. 100% agree.
Because they well,
Well, so Henderson could have scored like 30 seconds later. He took the slide to keep
30
possession
seconds
in the
earlier, yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, bad
I
form. All
also had
right.
an alt spread of 17 and a half at that point, and I was like, oh, they came back, they got a touchdown. Oh, and they were like, oh no, they're gonna ruin this. The only way I lose this, because they were
You know,
down, 17 or no, 18, and they go for one because the game's over. They would need two onside kicks. And I was like, oh, well, obviously you take the point, but these guys think they still have a shot. So they go for two, and they get the two. And I was like, no, no, they got the two. They're going to go for onside kick, and then Ohio State's going to score. And I was right. But I didn't know they'd score like that. Like Day,
yeah.
Day, Signetti, Dillingham, and freaking Hurley are my Rushmore of turds this week.
All right.
You're floating in the bowl, baby.
We had one bet in the NFL that we'll talk about real quick.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about some upcoming games because we've got a short week in the NFL and we've got a game of the week that you and I need to discuss. So last night on Monday Night Football, we had the third edition of the Harbaugh Bowl.
Pass. Lame.
At the Chargers.
Don't
This
care.
time, what city are they in?
Austin.
Yeah, I can't even remember. Los Angeles, maybe.
Harbaugh's glasses made him look like the guy from Trailer Park Boys.
Totally. Yeah. How is the younger
Bubbles, right?
Harbaugh brother look like he's 20 years older?
Hard living of cheating.
Yeah,
Cheating takes a
will
lot
take
out of you.
years off your life. Listeners, did you hear it? Cheating
Don't
takes
cheat.
off your life.
Don't cheat in games or on your partners. Just leave them.
Yeah. Anyway, you had the Ravens in that game. I had the Chargers. And when you told me that yesterday, I was kind of surprised. I didn't even remember that I had made that pick. And I was just like, oh, I hope you win this game. And you won that game. So that put us at a wash for this weekend. Nobody owes anybody any money.
Don't owe shit. No.
Congratulations on not paying me my allowance this week, Z.
I know. What are you going to do? I bet you had earmarked it. You earmarked Z's money, don't you?
I guess I'm not going to the bar this week. What can I do?
No bars. The beers in Detroit are still $1, folks. Going to Detroit City.
All right. So, Thanksgiving week. Happy early Thanksgiving, everybody.
Feast week, baby.
This is the Lions tradition. Detroit began the Thanksgiving Day game back in this is 90 years, I think 1934, I believe, was the first one.
Was it against Chicago or Green Bay?
I don't remember. We will look that up in a second. But this year, it is against Chicago. And Z, it would mean the world to me if you were to bet me $1.
I'll take 11 and a half.
What is the Vegas line? Isn't it 10 and a half?
I've seen 11. I've seen 10 and a half. So I would do 11 and a half.
Whew. I don't know if I want to go that big on a short week. Short weeks tend to make things weird. Plus, the Lions have more injuries coming out of last week's game. This time to the secondary.
You're pretty bullish on the Lions, and they've beaten the snot out of every bad team.
I know. This is me hating Thursday games.
Thanksgiving's not a Thursday game. It's a special thing.
It is a special day.
It's a special thing. You probably got some great Detroit musician.
Can we go 10 and a half? I'll go 10 and a half. I won't go 11 and a half.
Let's go 11. It's the same thing.
11.
Basically.
We will go 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could see it being exactly 11. That's a touchdown, a two-pointer, and a 3.
Yeah, that's whatever Chicago does, they will find yet another way to break their base, break them. Okay. Just break me apart. I want to be shattered. Destroy me. I'm not gonna watch any of it, but I want to get. I'll watch the last.
Watch all of it. It's going to be wonderful. All right, so we came up with two bets. We got our
Mhm.
Thanksgiving game. We'll go Lions -11, and then we've got UNC Auburn later tonight in Maui.
Yeah. Do you want Duke, Kansas? We
No,
both.
because we both have the same thoughts on it.
I got Kansas to all. Oh, we could bet on the. Is it the Bad Boy Mowers like tournament or something? What do they call it? It's one of those. It's not the. Is it Bahamas or it's the? I think it's one of the Bahamas ones. It's like the one that Gonzaga and Arizona are in.
Um, is that starting today? I thought that was a little
Yeah.
later. I know the
No, that
one.
starts
There's the
today.
one in Palm Springs. The Acrisure is getting started today.
I thought the Acrisure is just for Thanksgiving. Is it not?
No,
They don't
it's
have that
today
this
and
year because
tomorrow.
MSU's not in it, so they don't do a Thanksgiving game
The
unless.
MSU women are in it. That is a
Oh,
co-ed tourney or
yeah, it's
event. Not
Vanderbilt and
really.
Arizona, and then we play somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we play both. Yeah, I would take Gonzaga versus the field in that tournament. Arizona's in it.
Yeah, I'm not ready to touch that one. But you're
Ooh,
probably right
discipline.
with Gonzaga.
Yeah, you have Gonzaga in the Final Four, right?
I sure do.
You had Duke, Gonzaga. Did you have UConn? I forget.
No, I did not have UConn.
What was your other
Um,
two?
I'd have to go find that. We wrote it
Alabama.
down
You have
somewhere.
Alabama, and then you didn't have Houston, did you?
No. What did I have?
I remember who I had.
Well, you are just a savant, aren't
Oh
you?
no, you had Kansas. You had Kansas. You had
I
Kansas,
did not
Duke.
have Kansas.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yeah, you
I had
100% had Kansas.
Zaga, Duke, Bama,
Alabama,
and
Kansas.
was it?
Yes,
Oh, that makes me so sad.
I know. I think my Final Four looks better, but I think UConn's not going to make it now. I think the other three are going to make it unless they play each other. But yeah, no, MSU is looking good. We're nine. So on FanDuel, I don't know about the other ones, but we're 19-1 on FanDuel right now to make the Final Four and 75-1 to to win the title. So betting strategy, real quick. We'll probably end this with some betting strategy because this is dollar bets, right? You take a long shot that's not really a long shot to win a title. And then you find another team, you let them lose a game, and you buy low on a team like UConn last year. I bought low, and they dominated. But I also had a little bit on MSU, which I like to do, which is stupid. Except this year. And then yeah, and then the tournament, you take the bracket and you just hedge your futures bets. Duh. That's what you do. And I'd like to shout out O publicly for his brackets of integrity, and I love to try to challenge him every year to break his like it's like no nut November, and I'm his temptress.
Yeah, this is one of my OCD things. I only fill out one bracket and I only enter pools that only permit one bracket. I'm not going against people with 10 entries. I'm not having it. It's
They don't win.
even though I've won in those situations before,
Yeah.
the odds are not in my favor. I want to do one bracket and just only cheer for that bracket.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
nice.
the world I'm living in.
And it's the world I know, and it's the
All right,
world
Z,
I know. Yeah.
I got to get to work.
Someone's
I
got
know
to
you
work
do
around
too.
us. Yeah,
Um,
eventually.
Everybody out there, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Gobble gobble. We'll be back Wednesday or Friday, I guess. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
see.
not Wednesday. Wednesday's tomorrow.
Oh, it is. Oh yeah. All
See
right. We'll be back on Friday, and it's gonna
you
be a
guys
good
Friday.
day
We will be
because I'm
doing
gonna
a
win
very
those
special
bets.
food coma episode of Dollar Bets.
We're gonna have a Maui invitational celebration, and there's gonna be pineapples, baby. Woo! Go
Z,
get
I
that
bet
crank.
you I eat more than you on Thursday.
there's no freaking way you're gonna eat more than me. I'm doing two meals.
Dude, I'm gonna go for thirds.
I'm not saying I'm 2 helpings. I mean, I'm having 2 entire meals.
Yeah, I hear you.
I got my girlfriend's family's Thanksgiving, and then I'm speeding across town about 35, 45 minutes to just hoover my brother's dinner. Just destroy it. So eat too much, bet too much.
So here's what I need you to do. When you wake up on Thursday, I want you to weigh yourself, and then I want you to weigh yourself before you go to bed.
I do weigh-ins. Is it supposed to be when you go to bed?
Well, that's what we're doing that day. We're going to do when you wake up and when you go to bed, and we're going to see who put on more weight on Thanksgiving. For $1.
No.
All right, we got to go.
Wait. We'll discuss later. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Bet.
Hey, heard you like podcasts. Well, check out Dollar Bets. 2 sports guys with faces for radio, betting live money against each other on air. That's Dollar Bets with a Z. Find us on the Winner's Edge.
Hi, everyone. I'm Geraldine Glass, a leader in the field of music as medicine, and I'm excited to share with you my newest release of healing sound, Pentatonic Visions, with Chris Scholler and Electrocast Records. Immerse yourself in ethereal realms where the harmonies of nature, tribal rhythms, and soundscapes blend with the crystal singing bowls. It's out now, streaming on all platforms.
Electrocast.